Hello? Ah, there we go. Now it's working. Oh, hello. Oh yeah, I thought I'd do a bit of ambience today. I got like some. Do you like my ambience? Yeah. Oh, hang on. Play ambience. There we go. So, this is a bit of a random one today. I'm not gonna lie. Hello, Elliot. I know some people are probably still at work, and you're probably thinking, why on earth have I gone live on a Thursday? I never go live on a Thursday. Well, we were going to go live on Sunday and then realised that myself and Chris are both working that day. So we were like, oh, that's a bit. It's in a dungeon. May as well be in a dungeon, to be fair. This particular live is called The Mad World of the Paranormal, and that's simply because it is, isn't it? It's a bit mental, like the stuff that goes on, and there's this sort of divide between scientific analogies and thought, and then firm believers and what they say, what they believe in, etc., etc. You're probably going to see most of this on catch up because it will go out on Sunday as well. So if you are tuning in for the Sunday because you missed it because I decided to put it out really, last minute today, then hello to everybody. Obviously, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and share. I'm going to get that out of the way at the beginning. Now, Elia, you've actually, seeing as you're here, assuming you are still here, you might have gone, to be fair, you might have heard me ramble and then left. Oh, hello, Dave. I'll ask you as well. So now we've got a couple of people. Do you believe in ghosts, either anyone that's here, or do you think that it might be something else that we're just yet to fully understand within the universe? What are people's sort of beliefs on this? Like in our group, we all have different ways of seeing things. So like Dan, for example, is complete polar opposite to myself in that he is a firm believer, and he believes in spirit and that side of things. And then you've got me, who questions everything. And you question yourself. Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to have an amount of questioning on things instead of taking everything for front value. Nobody in our group just takes anything for front value. Want to believe in ghosts, but zero proof, so hard to believe in it. It is one of those, isn't it? It is one of those weird ones where, like, people get confused when they say to me, "Oh, how's the ghost stuff going? Have you seen a ghost?" And I'm like, "Ghost stuff." I was like, "Yeah." Admittedly, what we do is we go into locations said to have some sort of, spiritual thing there, or someone that might have died there. But we do have things happen that are weird, but none of them at any point or time has anything physically appeared and said, "Hi, I'm Brian, I'm the guy that died here." So it is hard. Like, just because said item's flown across the room doesn't mean that Brian's the person that's done that. And even with myself at the moment, I'm having to accept that, because I started off really skeptical. Like some people may be watching this that have known me from time ago, where I was like stubborn, and I was worse than another debunker out there, Mr. Gray. I was worse than that. I was so stubborn, and I'd go in places, things would happen. I'd go, it's this, it's that, it's that, and I was like quite trying to be quite scientific, logical, rational. But the more I'm doing this, the more I'm witnessing mad things happen. Hence the mad world of the paranormal. You likely need to know every experience ever reported to make a dent on the subject. Could be an interstellar thing. I've always thought this like kind of interstellar idea. If nobody's seen Interstellar, by the way, basically it's the fourth dimension, Tesseract. So the guy manages to get into the fourth dimension, and he like sees himself back in time, and he pushes a book, and the book falls off the shelf and stuff like that. But I'm not going to tell you how it gets to that point, no, because then I'll be spoiling the whole movie. But the concept is it's the fourth dimension, so there could be something within another dimension. But even science doesn't, it doesn't even want to address that situation. And it leaves you in a bit of a pickle when you can't, like, I'm in a position, and I have to say this, that I cannot scientifically explain some of the things that myself and the team have witnessed. Snuff Mills, as an example, like Elliot here, he's even had a stone hit him in the back. Instant reaction is, who did that? Turns around, realises we're miles away. So it's just mental. Hello, Colin. How are you? We're just talking about how crazy the idea of the paranormal is, and as a personal skeptic / open skeptic now, how this is like crumbling my brain. Every time I come back from a place, latest one being the farm with the mask and the like. Hang on, I got them up here. Okay, so this is the mask in question, and it's got this strip on it here. It's a metal strip, and that goes on the nose like this, and it sits on the cheeks like this, and that looks as though it's pulling away from his cheek, and you can't blow on it. So everything where I've gone, because this is what I do, I try to deconstruct something first by using, what could it be? What the hell is on the telly? Adverts. Bloody adverts playing. There we go, back to that. And once the logical things are removed, I'm then left with, okay, this has happened, but I don't understand how it's happened. Now a believer will just accept it and say, well, that's spirit, or that's a negative energy, or that's a demon, or that's stone tape theory. But I, as a constant thinker, find it very difficult to just go, oh yeah, it's one of those things, because I want to know then, well, okay, so how do those things work? How does spirit work? And I've asked this question before, and people go, oh, it's a telekinetic energy. Well, telekinetic energy is not a proven energy. It's a pseudoscience. So then I go, okay, so how does telekinetic energy work? Can you show me an example of this? Can you provide evidence for this in lab conditions? And then you're just left with, well, no. So then I then go, well, I then struggle, because I know the thing is real. I know the XYZ is flown through the air, or XYZ is whistled or ran towards me, or numerous amount of crazy things, but I don't know how. Hello, Bristol Paranormal Hunters. And you've had some dodgy photos with There's some dodgy photos with things in as well. Yes, that's another thing. Like, people will poo-poo that though, Elliot. Like, even myself, as a put downer of a lot of things, I know cameras quite well to know that some of the stuff that's being taken shouldn't be in that photo, especially when there's been, like, I don't know, 20 photos taken in the same spot and only in one of them is a dark black figure. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, that's just mental. By the way, this is in no way me saying what people should believe, or me saying, you know, as Haunted the Truth, this is what we think. This is just me. So how my brain works and how I'm sort of stuck between this open skeptic fighting against this, oh my god, the paranormal is real, you're going to get sucked into another dimension with the devil, right? And there's a battle going on between those two. Logic's here in the middle going, you know, it's like that one, the girl we saw in Snuff Mill. The girl. Is that the one that someone's dad sent in? And she was in one photo and then she went in the other photo. Obviously, I have to take account that I wasn't there to see them take it. But I know that they weren't the type of person to lie, per se. So, unless, yeah, I don't know. If that's the one you're on about, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. Or smack that like button as well, or whatever it is you have to do on this. Just try and get the algorithm up. The algorithm on YouTube, don't even get me started with that. Yeah, that is the one. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it is a weird photo, and the only thing with that is, we were down there in the day, and it was about 3:30, something like that, and there's a school up the hill from the area, and all the school kids were coming down, and some of the attire that they were wearing was the same colour as the girl that was wearing it in that photo. So then I had to put the question forward of, well, what's the chances that there was somebody from the school in that moment that happened to step into frame but was out of the frame prior to that? I always try to find an answer. It drives me mental. Sometimes I just have to let stuff go, and I can't just think about it. Do you think God is a paranormal thing? Ooh. Well, by definition, paranormal defined. Let's have a look. Paranormal means denoting events of phenomenon such as telekinesis and clairvoyancy, and things that are beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding. God is beyond scientific understanding, so potentially yes. But it depends on the type, what God, doesn't it? Because there's Yahweh, the God of, the Jews and Christians. I think it's the same bloke for the Muslims as well, because it's all the same, just different sectors. And then you've got the Hindus, which have got several gods: Vishnu, Kali. Yeah, I can't remember the others. It's gone. So, and then you got Buddha, which was a real person. So it depends, doesn't it? Jesus, you mean Yeshua? The thing is, that depends on if I think there's enough historical documentation to suggest that there was a bloke called Jesus or Yeshua of Nazareth that was knocking about back in the day. But as for the events that took place and the miracles and stuff, there, the things that he was doing are definitely within the supernatural realm. Yeah. Because, Even when, if I do like a card trick where I do that with a card and then the card ends up on the ceiling, and it was just in the deck a minute ago and now it's on the ceiling, that could be seen to look like a supernatural event, but really there's a lot of structure involved in that. So there is that side of things as well. It's all about perception. So one person's supernatural might be someone else's, they might just go, I know that's not supernatural, which is exactly what's going on in my brain, funnily enough, when I'm witnessing paranormal things. Or what's that doing? What seem to be showing displays of paranormal. And I find it highly difficult to turn around and say, because there is a lot of heat on it. What's the word I'm looking for? If you just turn around and say, oh, this is paranormal, or oh, this is a ghost, or what have you, which we never do. We never do. You then end up in this box of scrutiny. And it's like people then think you're like crazy. Hello, Dan. I'm glad you're here, actually. Just discussing belief, and I'm just talking about how I'm losing my mind over it. Because I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know what to believe. I want to say this is XYZ, but I find it really hard to do that because I'm having this argument with my logical side of my brain. If that's the case, I mean, I don't. How many people have experienced something strange but don't want to admit it? Probably thousands, because of the scrutiny that's placed on it. Look at the poltergeist house owner, for example. She doesn't want to be known. She doesn't want anything to be put out there, really, like, publicly of where that place is. Doesn't want to earn anything from it. Because, I mean, look what happened to, what are they called? The one with, I died in the room in the corner. With Janet. Oh, what's it called? It's gone. My head. It's hot today. My brain's not working. Everyone's saying hello to each other. But anyway, they got a lot of scrutiny for that. Hell of a lot of scrutiny for it. And now you've got certain debunkers out there that won't accept anything. At least, I consider myself to be, open skeptical. But at least I get off my ass and go into locations, a lot of locations, and spend a lot of hours, Enfield, thank you very much, to try and see if I can, you know what I mean? Myself and the rest of the team have done this a hell of a lot. And it's transformed me as a person from being absolute, this is bollocks, to what the hell's going on? I don't understand this. This seems to be defying all the laws of physics. And now I'm... The whole point of belief, mate, you don't have to understand it. You just appreciate it and think yourself blessed that you got to experience it. That's what I do. Yeah, do you know what? I envy that you can just go, I believe in XYZ, and then see something happen and then go, that helps with my belief and reinforces my beliefs. Because my brain is like a bloody hamster on a wheel, and it starts racing like mad. It might be the ADHD. That's a good chance. Like, when something happens, especially when I've been so like, no, this can't happen, when it does happen, I try to figure it out, and I can't. There's a lot of stuff that I just have to leave be. And then it really pisses me off when then someone comes along and goes, oh, that didn't happen, it's not real, oh, you're faking it, oh, you're lying. Don't give me that shit. Because I'm doing my utmost best to try and understand it, and I can't. And you're telling me it didn't happen at all? Idiots. Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to do. It is, yeah. But I won't ever take that away from anybody. Like, if somebody wants to accept and believe that that's the thing that is happening, they have every right to believe that. Like, anybody, if they joined as a guest or a member of the team, wants to ever say, I personally think that that is XYZ that died here, or definitely paranormal, or that's definitely the ghost. I definitely, if Josh wanted to turn around and say that he has physically seen an apparition of a figure and he believes it to be the evil spirit that resides in the poltergeist house, then he is perfectly allowed to do that. I'm just in this sort of like two-sided fence thing going on in my head, like a war of trying to figure it out slash just accepting that there is, like, this is a thing. I have my belief in my faith, and closer I get to the more experience, so I'm embracing it, but different. And Mark, you are the way you're supposed to be, just like all of us. I think when they made the mold for me, they might have dropped it. Where's my water? But yeah, that's pretty much what this is about. This whole live, it's about my understanding of the crazy things that go on within the paranormal world, or that, you know, like I've got a friend who is a computational chemist, and I spoke to him about this, and there's things where he will just say, he believes me, but he'll watch stuff and he will just say, well, I don't know what's happened there. I don't know the full circumstances, but he doesn't put it down in any way or form. And I've had him say to me, and other people that are academically up there say to me, that by definition, if I say that if something happens that's crazy and and we don't see the thing that's done it, by definition I don't know what that thing is. So then to turn round and then give it a label, I'm contradicting myself, saying I don't know what it is. It's like seeing a UFO and going, that's an alien. Well, by definition, you've just called it a UFO. You just said it's unidentified. So why are you now calling it an alien? And that's why a lot of the time I will turn around and just say, okay, this is weird. I don't know how it's done. And we sort of come to this conclusion to just let the audience decide as well, because everybody has different beliefs. Like, I don't want people to necessarily take my belief as gospel. Let's have a read. Predictive text. Not all, mate. You might be a bit burnt on the edges, but in the centre you're all spongy. You've got given ingredients. Do you see what I'm trying to say, though? Well, I'm turning that telly off because it keeps doing adverts, doing me nutting. That's clove oil, by the way. I got wisdom teeth coming through. Wisdom teeth coming through, but not getting any more wisdom. What's that about? Yeah, it is something that's definitely doing my tits in. And a lot of people don't know this, but when you do it a lot, it actually starts to affect your sleep patterns. Like, I get night terrors like nobody's business. The ones where you think you've woke up, but you're still in them. And there's something like grabbing you, and it's like almost feels like you can't breathe. And you're just like this trapped around you, and there's this darkness just chasing you. And you think you wake up, and you haven't woke up. And then eventually when you do wake up, you're like, I end up hitting this roof and all sorts. It's like, and this is all because it's just constantly in your mind, just racing 24/7. Unless I'm, well, sometimes you got to have downtime. I play video games and stuff like that. I try to go out and get out in the sun, and me in the sun, mind. But yeah, like it, oh, he's just saying hello. What are people's thoughts on this? Because I've been like sort of rambling a lot. Um, do you think, out of all of you, and I know I kind of know what you've already said, Dan, that it's something I should just accept. But do you think that I should err on the side of caution and just say I don't know what this is? Or do you think that when something extreme does happen, that's clearly mental? Like, I don't know, let's say I put that over there and it levitated across a room and then dropped like that. Do you think by definition I should be turning around and saying that's definitely paranormal? Because at the moment I'm going, well, it's not known until there's a discovery. That's how I'm putting it across at the moment, that everything that's within this universe has to comply with this universe. So that's doing something that's yet to be discovered. But do you think I should just turn around and go, that's clearly paranormal? Because it's really hard for me to just... I'm having this sort of in my head. There's very, very dreams which a number of occasions, and we get into a subject of astro projection. My sister said I had that once, but it was in that thing where I kept waking up but not waking up, and then on one of them I was stood here in my room, so I had woke up but not woke up, but then I seen myself sleeping in the bed, and the second I realised it was me in the bed, it was like when you go over on a roller coaster and it was like and then I sort of shot up, bolt upright. That was weird. I'm gonna let this conversation sort of because it's a bit delayed on the chat. There's only a few people in today, so it's not going too crazy. But yeah, my question was, should I try to loosen my brain up? Because it's so hard though. I don't want to lose as well. I don't want to lose because I'm seen in the group as being the sort of open skeptic, and then if I suddenly start saying this, that and everything else, do I then lose that stance? Trouble is, we live in a very judgmental society, and the thing is, we're frightened of putting labels to anything, saying it's paranormal or a ghost, because we're more frightened of ridicule. There is that. I wouldn't say it was ridicule. Well, yeah, there is ridicule, definitely. But then there's also my own personal stature. I don't want to suddenly like lose like this sort of ideology of Mark's the open skeptic. He brings to the group this possible rational fault, which I'm slowly, it's just been drawn out of me by absolute madness happening. Like, that's what initially it was meant to be, the debunking show. I was meant to walk into people's houses and say, oh, that's the pipes, but I couldn't do that. So I think slowly but surely I've had to change and accept that there are crazy things, but I'm not ready to take that leap in myself to just go, oh my god, 100% this is evidence of life after death, for example. I can't do that unless I have it, like, it has to be black or white. I need to physically see a formation, go, hi, I'm this, and then of course I will. If that happens, of course I would. I would then be crazy not to say. Just go with what you think. That's the problem. I don't know what I think anymore. I don't know what I think. Because the whole thing's making me question reality itself. My own existence, everything around me. What is this even real? Like, do you know what I mean? when you start going into it like deep, and you start realizing that there is genuinely crazy things that can happen, like items can fly across rooms, for example, then it makes you question everything about your own existence. Like, reality itself starts to crumble. To know the full extent of what's out there, you need to stop this text. Why should you have a stance? It's just you know, like when you have like a certain, how do I put this? Like Derek Akora in Most Haunted was always going to be the guy that talks to the dead. You know, Derek Akora was never going to turn around and go, I don't believe that there's anything here, it's the pipes. That was Kieran O'Keefe's job, right? And that was their stance per se. So when my stature within, like, so Dan, for example, he's the firm believer in the team. So when he comes, he's the juxtaposition to myself. He's the yin to my yang. He will say, no, I think it is something, and I will go, I don't know. Billy also starting to believe stuff. Josh, he's on cloud 9. But then me, I've always seen, you know, I started off as a complete skeptic, and now I'm the open skeptic. And if I start going too far the other way, I feel like I will lose that stature. It will be Derek Akora becoming Kieran O'Keefe, or Kieran O'Keefe becoming Derek Akora. Those are two extremes, by the way. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm somewhere like, this is Kieran O'Keefe, and I'm somewhere here, probably. I don't know. Perhaps I'm. Oh, so you think that maybe I've got some sort of denial going on? Do you know, I used to believe? I used to fully believe. Long time ago. Like, there would be weird things in my house, and my mum would say it was just a ghost, and I used to believe that. And she used to watch John Edwards, The Medium, and I used to believe he could genuinely speak to the dead. And then I sort of started looking into, you know, scientific things and magic and magic tricks and psychology and people like, oh, what's his name? There was a dude that put like $1 million out there for anyone that could prove that they had like a paranormal skill, or like if they could prove they were a psychic, for example. Great. I'm gonna have to look up $1 million prove psychic. I can't spell psychic, but that will do. The James Randi, James Randi. I then found James Randi, and you know, then Darren Brown, and then looking at how he managed to convince a load of people that he was like some sort of messiah and stuff like that. And then that changed me. It made me go sort of the other way. And then also having like a best mate who is a computational chemist, and talk through things with him, and then have that side of things where it's very constructive and sort of very scientific. It then creates this sort of battle of, I've physically been in this location and witnessed this stuff, and it's mental. However, I've got all of this information. Let's have a little read. What's that, Sam? Oh yeah, Sam. That you were things. It will take a lifetime for us to understand. I think science and the paranormal sort of clash. It's called growth, mate. That's what humans do. Depends. Start believing. It makes you humble to see other people's views. But you know what? I can understand why people believe in ghosts. I really can. When somebody goes, this place is haunted, it has ghosts in it, I can see why they believe that, because the things that are going on are the things that you see in the movies. It's, you know, you go and watch Insidious and you see these crazy things happening, and then I go to a location and see similar things happen. And in modern pop culture currently, that's all associated with a haunting or ghosts or demons or spirits or entities, etc. So is it that? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's hitting all the ticks, isn't it? Every single tick. But what we call a ghost or a haunting here in, I don't know, some tribe in Brazil, like in South America, they might have a different name for it, or a different ideology for it, or a different way of thinking. Ultimately, it exists, but it's just been called different things, and it's all down to personal belief of what you, the viewer, or whoever in my team want to believe. But fundamentally, it's real. That I'm going to put a stance on right now. Stamp. This shit happens. This shit's real. Right? That is fact. How? Pfft, no idea. And I am fed up, like I said earlier, of people trying to say that, you know, I'm lying, or that we're not telling the truth, or that just because we are getting stuff that's mental on camera doesn't mean it isn't real. Just because you're not getting it because you're doing it all bloody wrong and you're not listening, right? Bristol Paranormal Hunters are here, and they can testify that by doing it the way that we've done it, you get results. Are we really going to find out the real facts? If that... Wait. Is that the ghost think we are dead, turn the table, but they're in another dimension? Oh, you're talking The Others now, aren't you? The movie The Others. I think the closer you get to witnessing these things, the more mental it becomes. And it's not that maybe we're not allowed to understand it. It might just be far beyond our comprehension to understand it. Do you know what I mean? It's like if I want to say to you, I want you to imagine nothing. You know, before if you're a believer in the Big Bang, but before the concept of the Big Bang, quantum singularity, there was nothing, right? That nothing, not even the word nothing existed. No time, no atoms, no dust, no black, no light, no colour, nothing. Imagine that. You physically can't. It's not possible. So, is this thing that I'm going through and sort of creating my own personal journey on with a team as Haunted the Truth and investigating, is it something that's too far beyond the comprehension of our human intelligence? Are we really going to find facts? No, hang on. Absolutely. Yes, you're original in your approach. If we fully understand it, it would cause havoc with the world. Well, it can jump from paranormal to space-time easily because everything's linked. Everything's linked. Like, just because we're here on Earth, on this spinning ball, right? Within a solar system, which is within a galaxy, which is within a universe, and there's tens of thousands of billions of flipping other ones out there, there has to be a connection. The fact that a bloody particle across the other side of the universe is doing exactly the same as a particle on this side of the universe because they're linked via string theory and quantum physics and all this. Like, when you start to think about it properly start to think about it, and you look into how mental the actual universe is and how mental physics is with all this quantum stuff and the black holes and singularities and right, then it's not that strange to turn around and say an item's moved by itself off a shelf and flown through the air. It's not that strange when in the grander scheme of things. Do the ghosts think we're dead and they're alive? And the space-time is different to Earth. I mean, to me, I don't need any proof ever. I know the paranormal exists, and I quite happily use the word ghost. Would you go to space if you were invited? Yeah. Of course I would. If I knew I was terminally ill, I'd want to be launched into the centre of a black hole just to see what would happen. The space-time is different to Earth time is not... Right. When we start getting into space-time and stuff like that, that just jumbles things up even more. We recently did a podcast, which you can go and watch after this, where we spoke about like time dilations and how that can comply with the whole ideology of a ghost, because yeah, it's complicated, let's just say that. How do you then know the scientist got it right? Well, here's the thing with the word science, it's sometimes looked at in a negative connotation by people that are like, let's say you're like fundamental religious, you will hate the word science, but all it is a word that means everything there is. And I don't know the exact figures for this, but there's like, let's just paraphrase this, right? So 90% of Einstein's mathematics can be tried, tested and proven. And because that percentage is so high, the stuff that can't be tried, tested and proven are considered to be hypothesis and theory and be correct based on the other percentage. If you got launched into a black hole, I'm pretty sure your head would disappear up your arse. I think you get spaghettified if you get put into a black hole. You stretch like that. Hello, great content. I subscribe. Hello, thank you. Yeah, so a lot of stuff that we can't physically go and look at, there's mathematics to say how it works. Like with a black hole, for example, you can't know what's going on inside of a black hole, so they do the maths, and the maths is believed to be correct based on a high rate of correctness of stuff that we can test. But then at the end of the day, is mathematics a thing of the universe, or is it a human construct? Does 1 + 1 = 2? Or is that just because we say it does? That complicates things. I'm not even going to go there. That's going to give me a headache. I can't find it hard enough as it is to understand items flying off of rooms, let alone going into the depths of that. Anyway, hello. There's a few more people here that have joined. What are your thoughts on this, the paranormal madness? What do you believe is the things that are causing the items to fly off rooms, and the voices and the footsteps and all this sort of phenomenon that goes on around the world. Should science be taken as gospel, the same as the paranormal isn't? Can't say one exists and the doesn't. It's speculation of man. The thing is, right, if you removed every single book from the planet, right? So every Bible, religious book, paranormal book, ghost book, sci-fi book, everything, all gone, okay? And then a new generation of people came. The findings that we know of, gravity, mathematics, etc., they will be exactly the same. Could be called different things, but fundamentally they will be exactly the same. Whereas if they then found, let's say, one book survived of Lord of the Rings, people are going to think that that is the old world and that there were goblins and, you know, Sauron back in the day. But the scientific documentation, like, they've recently sent out a broadcast into outer space using binary to like explain the anatomy of us and our position within our galaxy, and apparently it's a universal language. So an alien that doesn't even speak English or what have you will understand it because it's universal. Does that answer your question? I don't know. You're starting to make me get all deep here. Now with the paranormal, it's not a one-word answer. It's a case of, you might say it's a demon. Dan might say it's a ghost. Someone in China might say that it's a creature within another realm. Someone who's pagan might say that it's like some sort of fairy or goblin. So because it's so called different things by so many different beliefs, it's hard to pinpoint it and give it one individual name. I think we're all on the same page for saying that it does exist, right? Let's just get that out there. But knowing exactly what that thing is where it gets a little, because so many people say different things. And then there's different ideologies for how to make it work. So my go-to is taunting and shutting up. Whereas another team might be holding hands and a spirit box, and that might be their evidence. Whereas if I want to test if, alkaline and acid attack each other, I just get vinegar and bicarbonate of soda and it reacts. That is the test. There isn't like loads of different options there. There's just too much going on. Prove he exists, prove he doesn't. Good luck. Yeah, but you could say that to anything really though, Dave, couldn't you? Like that's where the ideology of the flying spaghetti monster came about. So there's the religion of Pastafarian, and they believe in the flying spaghetti monster, and then people go, oh, you can't see him, and it's like, oh, but he's invisible, and we believe, and you need, and how can you say he doesn't exist? Just because you can't see him doesn't mean he's not there. It's that ideology. But at least with what I've witnessed and the team have witnessed, it's not a case of, oh, we haven't seen something, you just have to believe us. We have physical evidence on video of things happening, and then it's just morons out there that choose to not accept that those things are happening. Even when I'm being this, like, whatever, Like, I like to think that I'm quite level-headed, but then I'm still being called fake by people. Stupid. Any questions on this matter? At least your honesty trying to find it out. I am, yeah. Honestly, I am trying to figure it out. And I would be the first to say, I would jump to the hills, right? If, let's say, we had a location, there was a woman said to have lived there called Margaret, and we went there, and then all of a sudden we heard a voice, and it was a female, and we caught it on camera, and then we had an apparition of an old lady, and let's say one of the kids that was her mother, and then she played back a recording of her mum, and it matched the voice, and she showed us photos, and those photos matched the apparition. I would shout to the hills that we have evidence of life after death, right? Because that is what that would be, 100%. And there's no way I wouldn't do that. Just let the process carry on. I suppose the point now is, like, a lot of people might question, so what is it we're actually doing as Haunting the Truth? We collectively as a group are going into places that are said to have activity, and we are exploring every single avenue possible. So, is it a demon? Is it a ghost? Is it a spirit? Is it a dimensional thing? What is it? And then we capture stuff on camera. Some stuff, maybe, it could be this, could be that. Other stuff, nah, just mental. It's too far gone. It's out there. It's crazy. And it's those crazy things that I want to capture more of, personally. And then we allow you, as viewers, to decide what you want to believe and what you feel and think it might be. And for us, I think we just all take away, personally, what we want to feel from it. I have to sometimes just leave it alone and just carry on, because otherwise it does my head in. Or I try to find out more about it, or I get obsessed and continuously go to the location until I can, as if like one day it's just gonna be written down as an answer. My headache is this: I cannot believe everything is fake. What's being investigated in the years, and I don't mean the ones that set everything up. I mean, I believe in paranormal and seeing. I can't believe there. Yeah, do you know what? There is too much going on, and too many accounts of things going on to just turn around and say it's not a thing, that people aren't experiencing these things, that they haven't gone through these things, and they're perfectly in their rights to turn around and call it a ghost or call it a spirit and stuff like that, and I can understand why they would do that. But it's so random and so unpredictable, and it doesn't want to comply with, right, that move it again, and then you try and study it and write it down and figure it out. It's neon impossible to try and document. The best we can do is catch it when we catch it, and then just say to people, here you go, look at this madness. This is evidence that clearly these things are real. That's what we can do. That's it. If you believe in the Holy Ghost, you believe in the paranormal, then to a degree science must also play a part in the paranormal. You're torturing yourself over something you're already trying to discover. Try and relax. Torture yourself over something you're trying. I do it with everything now, Dave. Like, there was a bloody motor, what do you call it, generator, down the end of my street, which was said, oh, take me, broke. And I dragged it all the way back to the house and put it in the garden to take it apart because I wanted to figure out how it worked. I wanted to figure out how vinyls worked. So I started looking at the grooves and like Googling them and stuff. I just like to figure things out. That's just me in general. If there's a problem with the computer, God forbid, I'll be on it for fucking days trying to figure out how to fix it. That's who I am. The Holy Ghost thing. I've sort of said this as well. I kind of think that scientists and believers need to stop banging heads and they need to have a conversation with each other, because I think there's a piece of puzzle in the middle that links the two, and because there's such a separation and a divide, the reason we're not getting anywhere is because of this divide, and there's something right here, and there the answer lies within this area right here in the middle. Oh yeah, drink, hang on. Water. Oh god, I'm flipping tight around my chair. I don't know what I've done there. I've got myself tangled up. I don't know why I've got those on, to be fair, because I'm not listening to anything. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a skill. Keep being you. Like you're thinking, Mark. I think too much. Do you know what? I have to take medication to shut my head up just so I can get to sleep at night. That's true. Because I'm constantly like, how does that work? What's this doing? How's this doing? What's that? Why is that happening? Why is that doing that? Is that going to do that? If I do this, will that happen? What will happen if... Is this... Someone... You know, the postman might be like, oh, I'm coming at 6 o'clock, and I'm there going, 6 o'clock. Where's the postman? Postman's not here. I'm honestly, I'm off me. I'm called Mad Mark for a reason, because I'm off me bleeding tits. The problem is, like, sometimes my madness that's going on up here can have a physical impact on other people's way of thought, and I don't want to try and control how other people think and feel or believe about things. Like that, I'm mad enough as it is. You know, there's no one else needs to be as crazy as I am. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just in this position where I don't know really what to believe anymore, because there's been too much now that's happened for me to just sit here and deny it and say that there isn't something. And that's it. That's really the thing there. So if there's any other questions, probably call it a night on that. And anyone who's missed this, it's going to go out Sunday, so you won't be able to rewatch the live until Sunday. But unless anyone else wants to add anything or say anything, then yeah, we will call it a night and say goodbye. I'll just give it a little bit of time. But if not, then obviously subscribe, like and share. Everybody should always believe what they want to believe and have their own opinions, because you're entitled to those. Don't ever judge anyone else. Don't try and put other people down. As long as you're not being nasty, you can have your opinions. And that's the way I look at it. You're looking forward to the farm? Yeah, that will be... Do you know what? Well, Dan who's in here, he's coming as well. He just told me it was going to rain, but hopefully the rain would have stopped by then. Be typical if there's a storm. Just let things happen when's your website opening. It's live at the moment, but the guy who's doing it's doing it for free for us, so obviously we can't rush him, because he's doing it like as a out of kindness. But until next time, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like and share, And yeah, stay spooky.